Julio Foolio. On June 23, 2024, Charles Jones, better known to fans as Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio, was celebrating his 26th birthday in Tampa, Florida. What began as a night of joy would soon spiral into a chilling tragedy. Foolio had rented out an Airbnb for a birthday pool party, but when the crowd grew too large and rowdy, he decided to move the festivities to a Holiday Inn. In the early morning hours, around 4:40 a.m., Foolio and his crew pulled into the hotel parking lot, but in that very space, his life ended. Gunmen were waiting, and they ambushed the vehicle he was in. Dozens of rounds tore through the car, striking Foolio fatally. 3 other members of his group were hit but survived. Police arrived to a grisly scene, their reports later describing the vehicle as riddled with bullets and the attack as a calculated hit tied to Jacksonville's bloody drill rap rivalries, especially the feud between Foolio's KTA side and Youngeen Ace's ATK group. Foolio's last recording is disturbingly mundane, and that's what makes it so haunting. Just hours before the ambush, he was live on Instagram, wearing a red headband, clearly in high spirits. He toasted with friends, telling viewers, "Everybody take this E on 3, man. 1, 2, 3. The video captures him smiling, urging fans to pull up to his pool party if they had the address, joking about drinking when he usually didn't, and boasting about how deep his crew was rolling. 20 deep everywhere we go. Nothing in his demeanor suggests worry. Instead, it feels celebratory. Yet that openness, publicly sharing his location and plans, may have allowed rivals to track him down. Foolio's story is steeped in violence. Born and raised in Jacksonville, his career was defined by feuds and retaliatory diss tracks. He made headlines with his When I See You remix and List of Dead Ops, songs that named real slain rivals Reddit. While that authenticity boosted his credibility, it also painted a target on his back. He had survived multiple attempts on his life before, including a 2023 shooting where he was struck in the foot. On Get Back, he even rapped, "This gunshot wound ain't due, but make me pop more perks. I saw my killer miss his shot. I swear it made me worse." His music often blurred the line between prophecy and biography, eerily foreshadowing the end he would meet. The aftermath of Foolio's death was explosive online. His Instagram account bizarrely posted messages claiming he was still alive, with captions like "Game over" aimed at rivals, before his mother clarified it was hacked. Rivals like Youngeen Ace even released songs afterward that seemed to describe the ambush in chilling detail. 4 in the car and 1 of them dead, 3 got hit. Fans debated whether Foolio's openness or even betrayal by someone close sealed his fate. What remains is a disturbing juxtaposition. A smiling Foolio, hours away from death, unknowingly streaming what would become his final celebration. Indian Red Boy. On July 8, 2021, a casual Instagram Live turned into one of the most horrifying broadcasts in hip-hop history. Zirail Dijon Rivera, known as Indian Red Boy, was sitting in his parked car in Hawthorne, California. It was broad daylight, just after 4 p.m. He was on live with a friend, influencer Capone, smiling, laughing, and chatting away. But suddenly, the feed was interrupted by loud, rapid gunshots. The camera shook, Rivera's expression froze, and his body jerked violently. Blood appeared as he gasped for air. In a faint voice, he whispered, "Help," before saying his location. "I'm in Hawthorne." Seconds later, the stream went dark. The video remains infamous. Capone can be heard panicking on the other end. "What the F***? Bro, where you at?" The helplessness is unbearable. Rivera was pronounced dead at the scene. Police reported that at least a dozen shots were fired into his car in a targeted walk-up shooting. The disturbing part is how the incident connects back to Rivera's gang ties. A member of the Inglewood family Bloods, he was allegedly involved in defacing a Nipsey Hussle mural, an act that many saw as a line too far. Nipsey was revered across Los Angeles, particularly among the Crips, and vandalizing his memorial was interpreted as a provocation. That context fueled speculation that Rivera's brazen murder, carried out live on social media, was retaliation. Rivera was only 21, just starting to gain traction as a rapper. His Instagram following had grown to over 35,000, and his music videos showcased the mix of bravado and vulnerability common in young street rappers. But his life ended mid-broadcast, leaving fans horrified at how quickly joy turned into death. In the aftermath, tributes poured in, including from the Game, who donated to his funeral expenses, yet his case remains unsolved, no suspects arrested, leaving his disturbing last recording as both evidence and memorial. XXXTentacion. When Yase Onfroy, known as XXXTentacion, was murdered in June 2018, fans mourned the loss of one of rap's most controversial but talented young voices. But months later, another recording surfaced, one not of his death, but of his darkest confessions. In October 2018, Pitchfork published a 27-minute secret audio tape in which XXXTentacion appeared to admit to brutal crimes, stabbing 8 people and assaulting his then-pregnant girlfriend Geneva Ayala. The tape, recorded in 2016 by an acquaintance, was not admissible in court because it was made without consent. But in it, Onfroy's voice is unmistakable. He boasts, "They said 3, it was 8, referencing a stabbing case. He laughs about violence, then chillingly admits, "I started locking her up because she made one mistake. That girl is scared for her life, which I understand. This wasn't a recording made in his last hours, but it became part of his disturbing last words to the public after his death. It cemented the image of a rapper torn between self-loathing and brutality. On the same tape, he confessed, "I disgust myself. I eat my negativity every single day." New York Times. The aftermath was divisive. Some fans defended XXXTentacion as a troubled soul trying to heal, while critics saw the tape as a confirmation of his violent nature. His estate remained silent, instead pushing forward with posthumous albums like Skins and Bad Vibes Forever. But the secret recording remains perhaps the most disturbing part of his legacy, an unguarded self-portrait of cruelty and despair, released only after his life was cut short. King Von. On November 6, 2020, outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta, King Von's life ended in a chaotic blur of fists and bullets. At around 3:20 a.m., Von, real name Davon Bennett, confronted Quando Rondo in the parking lot. Surveillance footage shows Von throwing the first punch. Immediately, shots erupted. Von was struck multiple times and collapsed. 6 people were shot that night, 2 fatally, including Von NPR. His last recordings are not music, but the chilling footage of his final moments. TMZ obtained the surveillance video, showing Von fighting, then crumpling to the ground amid muzzle flashes. Later, leaked police body cam footage showed the chaos as officers arrived, gunfire still echoing, wounded men bleeding on the pavement. Von's backstory is one of drill music incarnate. Raised in Chicago's O Block, his lyrics often detailed real shootings, real names, and the nihilism of street warfare. He'd beaten a 2014 murder charge, built fame through tracks like Crazy Story, and signed to Lil Durk's OTF label Wikipedia. But his violent past shadowed him, with documentaries later portraying him as potentially a serial killer. The aftermath was bloody. Timothy Lul Tim Leaks, a member of Rondo's crew, was arrested for Von's murder, but later cleared under Georgia's Stand Your Ground law. Von's death reignited feuds, leading to more killings, and even Lil Durk's later arrest in 2024 for conspiracy. Fans remain divided. Was Von a victim of setup or of his own life choices? What's undeniable is how disturbing those last recordings are. Watching a promising rapper, seconds after throwing a punch, struck down before the world's eyes. Lil Peep. On November 15, 2017, Gustav Elijah R., better known as Lil Peep, was found dead on his tour bus in Tucson, Arizona. He was just 21, a pioneer of emo rap blending punk, trap, and raw confessions of depression. The medical examiner ruled his death an accidental overdose of fentanyl and Xanax. Hours before, Peep posted disturbing videos to Instagram. In one, he repeatedly tried to drop a pill into his mouth, shaking a bottle of Xanax at the camera. He captioned a photo of pills on his tongue with "F it, Rolling Stone." Another caption read, "I just want to be everybody's everything. I need help, but not when I have my pills." Fans later described these posts as veiled cries for help. Even more disturbing were the recordings made after his overdose. Fellow rapper Bexy posted a Snapchat video of Peep slumped unnaturally on the bus, joking he was snoring. In reality, Peep was already dying, or dead. That clip became infamous as evidence of the negligence surrounding him. Peep's backstory was one of meteoric rise, a SoundCloud sensation from Long Island. He captured Gen Z's angst with songs like Awful Things and Star Shopping, but he battled depression openly, once telling Pitchfork, "Some days I wake up and wish I didn't." The aftermath of his death was lawsuits, accusations, and mourning. His mother sued his management, alleging they enabled his drug abuse. His music, though, lived on through Come Over When You're Sober PT2 and the documentary Everybody's Everything. Yet his last recordings, Instagram videos of pill abuse, and a Snapchat of his unresponsive body, remain some of the most disturbing ever associated with a young artist, capturing a star whose cries for help were mistaken for performance until it was too late. Juice WRLD. On December 8, 2019, just hours after stepping off a private jet at Chicago's Midway Airport, 21-year-old Jared Higgins, better known as Juice WRLD, collapsed into a fatal seizure. His entourage panicked, paramedics rushed to his aid, and police combed through his luggage to find pounds of marijuana, codeine, and guns. But what truly disturbs fans to this day isn't just the details of the overdose, it's the body cam footage that later surfaced. Audio capturing his girlfriend Ali Lottie sobbing, screaming, and pleading as Juice's life slipped away. The scene was chaotic. Officers entered the plane, arresting crew members while Juice convulsed nearby. In the background of the footage, his girlfriend is heard crying. His groans, the sound of seizure, and blood in his mouth are haunting. Many fans criticized the police for focusing on handcuffing others instead of aiding him, pointing out that paramedics didn't administer Narcan until too late. Juice WRLD's struggles were no secret. He rapped often about his reliance on Percocets and lean, foretelling his early death in songs like Legends, where he mourned that we ain't making it past 21. 2 days before his death, he recorded his final freestyle on a plane, spitting bars hours over a beat while appearing pale and tired. Watching it after the fact, fans describe it as prophetic. His lyrics about dying young paired with his visibly declining health, the aftermath of his death was devastating. Autopsy results showed oxycodone and codeine toxicity, with evidence of long-term internal bleeding from drug abuse. His family, friends, and fans launched campaigns to destigmatize addiction, but the last recordings, the police body cam, Allie's desperate cries, and that eerie freestyle remained chilling windows into the final hours of a generational talent silenced by the very demons he predicted would take him. Pop Smoke. On February 19, 2020, Brooklyn drill star Bashar Jackson, aka Pop Smoke, was gunned down in a rented Hollywood Hills mansion during a home invasion. He was just 20 years old. 4 intruders stormed the home, one firing multiple rounds into Pop's torso, killing him. The crime scene quickly made headlines. But what fans fixate on most is the timing of his last recording, a drill anthem called Run Down. According to collaborators, he tracked it less than 24 hours before he died. The lyrics are chilling in hindsight. Pop raps, body drop, I can't wait to see that day, and run down, catch an N while he tried to run down. Bullets hit his back and his leg, make him lay down. Genius. Fans couldn't ignore the irony. Just hours later, it was Pop's body that dropped during an ambush in his own rental home. Pop Smoke's rise had been meteoric. In under 2 years, he went from neighborhood freestyles to chart-topping hits like Welcome to the Party and Dior. His gravelly voice became the sound of Brooklyn drill, earning him cosigns from 50 Cent and Travis Scott, but he also flaunted his lifestyle online. Hours before the invasion, he posted Instagram stories showing designer bags with the rental's address visible, a mistake investigators believe tipped off the attackers. The aftermath was grim. Footage of paramedics performing CPR leaked online, sparking outrage about privacy violations. 5 suspects were arrested, 2 juveniles among them. In court, prosecutors said they killed him for a Rolex watch they later sold for $2,000. Fans see Run Down as his disturbing last testament, a song about hunting enemies that became a prophecy of his own fate. Young Dolph. On November 17, 2021, Memphis legend Adolph Thornton Jr., better known as Young Dolph, pulled up to Makita's homemade butter cookies. He was there to buy cookies for his mother when 2 men in a stolen white Mercedes opened fire through the window. 22 bullets struck him, killing him instantly. The last recording of Dolph is surveillance footage from inside the shop, shown in court years later. He's seen casually ordering cookies, phone in hand. When the employee's eyes widen, glass shatters, Dolph drops out of view, and gunmen appear outside. Rifles raised, no audio is heard, but the silence is deafening as you watch a beloved rapper fall in an instant. Dolph's story was one of independence. Refusing major label deals, he built his paper route empire from scratch, mentoring artists like Key Glock. His hits like Preach and 100 Shots were autobiographical, referencing previous attempts on his life, including a 2017 shooting in Los Angeles where he was hit multiple times but survived. The aftermath was massive. His murder trial revealed allegations that Yo Gotti's camp placed a bounty on his head, deepening the Memphis rap feud. Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith were convicted in 2024, while others awaited trial. For fans, though, the lasting image is that surveillance video. Dolph smiling in a cookie shop one second, then gone the next. L.A. Capone. Leonard Anderson, known as L.A. Capone, was just 17 when he was gunned down outside a recording studio in Chicago on September 26, 2013. He had been working on music all day, and as he stepped outside, a gunman ambushed him, shooting him in the thigh and lower back. The disturbing last recording associated with him was his session inside the studio. Unfinished tracks later leaked online. Fans pointed to how his lyrics often referenced death, eerily foreshadowing his own. One of his final verses had him rapping about enemies plotting on him, a grim reflection of his reality Reddit. Capone was a member of the 600 Set, affiliated with Chief Keef's OTF crew. His melodic delivery and sharp bars had him pegged as one of Chicago drill's next big stars. Tracks like Play for Keeps put him on the map, but with his ties to gang conflicts, danger followed him constantly. The aftermath saw 3 men arrested and later convicted of his murder. For fans, his last studio recordings became posthumous releases, haunting reminders of the promise cut short. At just 17, his death showed the brutality of Chicago's drill scene, where teenagers with dreams were often silenced before reaching adulthood. FBG Cash. On June 10, 2022, Tristan Hamilton, known as FBG Cash, was driving through Chicago's Auburn Gresham neighborhood when a car pulled up alongside him. Gunmen opened fire, striking Cash multiple times. His female passenger was critically wounded. Cash tried to flee on foot but collapsed, dying at age 31 Chicago Sun-Times. The disturbing last recording connected to him came from a Facebook Live video he'd posted just hours earlier. In it, he casually rapped and cracked jokes, seemingly unbothered, even as he hinted at enemies lurking. He told viewers he was outside every day and unfazed by threats. Watching it after his death, fans saw it as a chilling prelude. FBG Cash's backstory was rooted in Chicago's Flyboy gang, rivals to O-Block and King Von's OTF. He rose alongside FBG Duck, another rapper slain in 2020. Cash was known for fiery diss tracks like Back Again 2X, aimed at his rivals. His music thrived on the same conflicts that consumed so many drill rappers. The aftermath was more bloodshed. His death, following Duck's, decimated the FBG collective. Fans mourned online, calling his final live stream a prophecy he didn't recognize. In Chicago drill, lives and careers are often cut short, and Cash's last recording, hours before his murder, feels like another ghostly warning about the dangers of flaunting survival in a war zone. Big Scar. On December 22, 2022, Memphis rapper Alexander Woods, better known as Big Scar, was found dead at just 22 years old. The official cause, an accidental overdose involving prescription pain medication. But what shocked fans was the disturbing detail that Scar had recorded Instagram stories earlier that same day, showing himself smiling and smoking, seemingly carefree. Those clips would later be replayed endlessly as the eerie last moments of a rising star. Scar's backstory was marked by pain. In 2020, he survived a near-fatal shooting that left him with a bullet lodged in his spine. He needed major surgery and lived with ongoing health complications. Signed to Gucci Mane's 1017 label, Scar had broken through with his mixtape Big Grim Reaper, which debuted on the Billboard 200, proving he was more than just another Memphis hopeful. His gritty delivery and openness about trauma earned him a dedicated fan base. In the hours before his death, friends said Scar appeared off, though on social media he projected energy and normalcy. Later reports suggested he overdosed on prescription pills while at his girlfriend's house. Rumors spread about whether it was intentional or accidental, but his family insisted it was accidental misuse, a tragic consequence of painkiller dependency from his old injuries. The aftermath was complicated. Gucci Mane, who had signed Scar, initially offered to help with funeral costs, but was accused by relatives of falling short, sparking bitter online exchanges. Meanwhile, fans replayed his last Instagram story, wondering how someone could seem so alive one moment, then be gone the next. For many, Big Scar's disturbing last recording wasn't just an Instagram post. It was a symbol of how invisible pain and addiction can hide behind a smile. AKA, on February 10, 2023, Kiernan Forbes, better known as AKA, one of South Africa's biggest rap stars, was assassinated outside Wish restaurant in Durban. Surveillance cameras captured the chilling moment. As AKA embraced a friend on the sidewalk, a gunman sprinted up and fired multiple shots at close range, killing him instantly. What makes his last recording so disturbing is how ordinary it seemed. Hours before, AKA posted Instagram stories, promoting his upcoming album, Mass Country, and showing himself dining with friends. In one video, he laughed and clinked glasses, unaware that hired hitmen were waiting nearby Times Live. AKA's career had been monumental, with hits like Fella in Versace and All Eyes on Me. He was celebrated across Africa and internationally. He was no stranger to controversy, surviving personal scandals and rivalries, but nothing suggested he was in immediate danger. Police later revealed that his murder was a contract killing, allegedly involving multiple suspects and careful planning. The aftermath was seismic in South Africa. Fans flooded streets in tribute, while his family demanded justice. His album Mass Country debuted posthumously to critical acclaim. Yet the most haunting footage remains the CCTV clip of his final seconds. One moment hugging a friend, the next collapsing as shots rang out. A superstar, gone in the blink of an eye. Drakeo the Ruler. On December 19, 2021, Los Angeles rapper Daryl Caldwell, better known as Drakeo the Ruler, was stabbed to death backstage at the Once Upon a Time in LA festival. He was 28. Chaos erupted as dozens of men stormed into a restricted area surrounding Drakeo. Within seconds, knives were drawn, and he was mortally wounded. The disturbing last recording tied to Drakeo is fan-shot cell phone footage of the backstage melee. The video, widely circulated before being scrubbed, shows Drakeo moments before the ambush, casually preparing for his set. Seconds later, shouting and commotion erupt as figures rush into frame. The footage cuts off abruptly, leaving viewers with a sense of dread. Drakeo's backstory was as complex as his music. Known as the most original West Coast stylist in decades, his mixtapes like Cold Devil pushed a new slang-heavy conversational rap style, but his career was repeatedly derailed by legal troubles, including a prolonged stint in jail on conspiracy charges that many critics saw as a misuse of gang laws. He'd only recently been freed and was staging a comeback. The aftermath was grief and outrage. His brother, Ralphie the Plug, accused festival organizers of negligence, saying Drakeo lacked proper security. No one has been charged with the murder, and rumors swirl about rivalries within the LA rap scene. For fans, the haunting video of his last moments backstage remains one of hip-hop's most disturbing images, a reminder of how quickly violence can pierce even professional spaces meant for celebration. PNB Rock. On September 12, 2022, Rakeem Allen, better known as PNB Rock, was having lunch with his girlfriend at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in Los Angeles. Suddenly, armed robbers burst in, demanding his jewelry. Moments later, shots rang out. Rock was fatally wounded in front of horrified diners. His disturbing last recording came not from him, but from social media. His girlfriend had posted a geotagged photo of their meal minutes before the robbery, unintentionally signaling their location to would-be attackers. Fans later replayed that Instagram story as a chilling prelude. To make matters worse, footage from inside the restaurant surfaced online, showing PNB Rock lying in blood as witnesses screamed. PNB Rock had risen from Philadelphia's streets to mainstream success with songs like Selfish and features alongside artists like YFN Lucci and Ed Sheeran, but his flashy jewelry and openness about wealth made him a target. Police later arrested a father, stepmother, and teenage son in connection with the murder, accusing them of conspiring to rob and kill him. The aftermath saw debates about whether rappers should post real-time locations, with stars like Nicki Minaj warning others to learn from Rock's fate. His last recordings, a girlfriend's innocent post and leaked footage of his final moments, became stark reminders of how quickly digital life can intersect with deadly reality. Takeoff. On November 1st, 2022, Kurznik Kari Ball, known worldwide as Takeoff of Migos, was fatally shot in Houston outside a bowling alley. He was just 28. The incident happened after a private party during an argument over a dice game. Takeoff, by most accounts uninvolved in the dispute, was struck by stray bullets. Takeoff's disturbing last recording is a viral video of the aftermath, showing Quavo, his uncle and bandmate, kneeling over his body screaming for help. In the background, voices cry out, "We lost Take." The footage is raw, unfiltered, and devastating. Takeoff's backstory was one of understated brilliance. The quietest member of Migos, he was often hailed as the group's best lyricist. From Versace to Bad and Boujee, his flow shaped an era of trap. He released a solo album, The Last Rocket, in 2018, showcasing his individuality. In interviews, he described himself as low-key, more focused on music than fame. The aftermath of his death was heartbreak across hip-hop. Quavo released Without You as a tribute, pouring out his grief. Fans replayed Takeoff's final public appearance, an interview hours before his death where he spoke about wanting recognition for his contributions. His last recordings, both casual interviews and horrifying footage of his death, cemented his legacy as a soft-spoken star caught in senseless violence. Love this video? Click on the cards on your screen for more.